Hello everybody, this is Kimberly with Starfish Design. Wait and show you guys what I'm making as soon as we get a couple more people listed here. Hope everybody's having a beautiful Saturday. I'm a little sunburned. My son and I and one of his friends went to the pool yesterday and I got just a little bit of sunburn. I don't know why it's showing a reply there on. Huh, that's weird. Oh, no need to do that. Okay, comment. Okay. As usual, the dog is barking. Grayson, can you take care of the dog, please? Alright, I see a few people on here. If somebody could say hi, make sure that you can hear me okay. For some reason, I have a pinned comment on here from Angela. I don't even know why. So I can't tell if I'm seeing new comments or not. How do I change the view? I don't know what's going on here. Let me try and do my own comment and see if I can see it. There we go. Okay, I can see it. So hopefully I have a new setup here. I rearranged some stuff in my living room. I'm not done cleaning yet because it's a disaster in here, but I got a new table. This is they're really nice. It's a folding table from Lifetime. I got it on Amazon. I think it was $40. I originally bought one of these for my son's lemonade stand, and I took it over for my craft table and then ended up moving that upstairs so that I could use it for the machines upstairs. That's the machines. So the Janome 500, the table is too wide for the sewing table I had it on the desk. So I bought another one of these, and it's perfect. I have just enough room. I have enough room for one of these little containers for my thread and everything. Okay, so what we're making today is a larger version of this. And I did forget to grab a loop. So we may not have any loops on it today. So ignore where I accidentally cut the ribbon there. The ribbon. But it's just a simple little pouch. I'm going to do a lined one. And so just like my itty bitty pouch, but this one's squared. So I wanted to highlight something for you. I don't know if you can see very well. When you do the online version, you end up having this little flap in here. I'm leaving it a little bit long when you trim it because you need something for that zipper to hold on to. So what I would like you to do is take your double-sided permanent tape and put a tiny little piece in there along that line and hold that little flap down. So I'm not going to demo the online version today, but I wanted to show this to you just so you know. Because that way it doesn't hang loose in there and it'll give a little bit extra support to that upper zipper. So just throw your tape in here along that seam, and I would recommend adding it before you turn it. And then just leave the paper backing on it until you turn it, and then pull the paper backing off. Sort of like you're closing the seam, and then push this down inside there. If you don't have double-sided permanent tape, use fabric glue. And now see how that gives a much nicer, cleaner finish to the bag, and it helps support that zipper. Because normally, if you guys have seen my videos or done any of my patterns, you know I like to do this top stitch. And there's a reason I do that, is because it gives you two lengths of stitching on that vinyl to the zipper, which is more secure, so you don't have to worry about your zipper tape falling through. But with this style of this bag, I can't do the top stitching. So this way we get a little bit extra reinforcement on that zipper. It also helps the edges that want to come poking out from doing that. Hi Biva, how are you today? I'm trying this new setup here, so hopefully everybody can see it. I'm actually right in front of the window, so it's awesome. Okay, so there's that. So now we're going to do the we're going to do the lined version. And I have a little treat for you on this bag too. Now this one is designed a little bit differently. So you'll see that I've done the preliminary stitching and there's only 2 lines there. This is not the zipper tape line. We are going to line the zipper with the bottom line and the zipper teeth should follow along that line. So this is a little bit different than the other bags. And the reason why is we are taking the full stitch area of our bag, of our frame with this. Now this hoop is a Janome from the 500. Is the, my screen went off. The 20B. It actually has a little bit larger stitch area than the other 5x7s, like even my brother 6 needle. So it looks misleading on how much space is left at the top of this. With your frame using a different machine, you may not have that much space left at the top of your frame. And I got too close. We don't want our zipper pole. I like to try and keep that zipper pole about 2 inches away from the end of our stitch line. Now, if your machine has the hoop comes in, attaches from a different side, you might want to rotate this so that it works better in your design, in your hoop. Okay, so I'm going to tape this down and then I'll show you guys. Hopefully, actually I think you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is going to be a simple pouch in just a little bit different design, and again a faux top open zipper because I've abandoned doing the traditional top open zipper because this machine can't handle it. If this machine can't handle it, then it's a good chance your machine can't handle it. The 6 needle machines, the multi-needle machines can handle it easily, but not everybody has one of those. So this gives us the look of a top opening. Okay, so now I've lined the bottom of the zipper tape with the bottom placement line. Hi Shonda. Hey, welcome. Yes, this one should be pretty easy. Actually, we're adding a design to it, but without the design, it's actually a quick stitch out. We're doing a lined one here, just because I haven't tested the lined one, so I'm doing my live testing with you guys. And my dog is out there barking, so I apologize. My son is not paying attention. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm going to have to check out my design. Something went wrong with my design when I saved the file. Okay, I have to fix that while we're chatting. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I've switched over to the yellow, which is what I'm going to be using for my design. So you won't be able to see the stitch very well, but I'm going to go ahead and run my tack down for my zipper tape. And I need to, oops, I'm trying to turn my laptop off. That's not good. For some reason my design did not come out right. I don't know what's going on here. Oh, I'm sorry guys. I should have looked at the screen before I did this. I'll show you what it's doing in a second. It should be, it like cut off some of my pattern. Huh. It's just not showing in the display. It's showing, oh, I opened the wrong one. Oh my goodness. What is going on with this? Ah, this is what it's doing. That's not good. Ooh. I'm going to have to probably open a ticket with Embonniance on that. Let me try and save it again. See what's going on with this real quick. I'm glad I noticed that before I started off with y'all, because I do not know what it's doing. It shows okay on here. Alright, let's try this. Sorry everybody. Just give me a second here. Alright. Okay, I think this is, let me try this again. This software, I swear I cannot wait until I can update. They insist there's no issues with it, but I run into these weird little bugs all the time. And their answer is to open a ticket with support. You open a ticket with support, and it does no good. And again, it's doing it. Okay. So, it's like cutting off my satin stitching. I don't understand why. Alright. Let me try one more time and see if I can figure this out. I'm glad I noticed it before there. Okay. And of course, they'll just say that I'm doing something wrong. That's what they always say. It's never the software, it's you doing something wrong. Alright, let's try this again. Alright. Alright, let's see. Oh. Hi, Debbie. How are you today? I'm having some technical difficulties. I did not notice until after I started the live video that my stitch file did not save properly. So I am trying to come back over here and fix it. And not having good success with this software. I'm not happy camper right now. And if it doesn't, we're just going to move on. And I'll continue on. Because I have a different version of it saved. Nope, it's still doing it. Oh my goodness. Okay, one more idea I have to try. Jeez. Alright, let's move the end over here. Let's see if that works. I do not know why it's doing that. I'm actually going to rename this because I'm going to open up a ticket with Embrilliance on that. Okay, let's see if that worked. Nope, still, it's crazy. Okay, I'm just going to move on and I'm going to do I have a different version of the design that's kind of a little wonky, but it'll do the job. Okay, so I've stitched down my zipper, and I feel like I don't say that word properly. I don't know why. I'm going to leave this tape in place because I don't want that hardware moving around and jingling. Grayson, please, with the dog. Alright. So, and you see on the back, we have the bottom stitch line. So we want to line up our fabric with this stitch line. So we're going to turn up the lining fabric. And we're going to turn it upside down, so it's right side down. And it's going to go along this line. And you line it up here, and you're going to tape it in place. Make sure that it's centered if you are being frugal with your fabric, or it's directional, and you need to pay attention to that. Grayson, please. Sorry, guys. This is what I get for trying to do it during the day. Had a conversation with the child before we started, but he's not doing well. Okay, so now hold that out of the way. However your hoop works, you want to make sure that fabric is out of the way. And you're going to take your vinyl and you're going to place it also upside down so that the edge is aligned with the zipper bottom. And again, tape that in place. Now for this section, it's going to get top stitched, so you don't need to overlap the zipper like you're going to do on the top. Okay, so I'm going to tape it on the corners here. Please don't use your fingers to guide this under the machine. It only takes a sneeze or something for your hand to come loose, and you're going to get wonked with that needle, and it's going to go through it. And I saw somebody in one of the groups last month, they actually had to have surgery to get the needle point out of their finger. Can you imagine how much that would cost? I don't know about your insurance, but my insurance, I don't get a single penny paid until I meet $1,850, and then I have a $3,500 deductible. Or I mean $3,500 out of pocket. So, or no, it's $3,750. So that procedure would cost me probably at least $3,700, $3,750. I can't afford it. So you get your seam ripper, your stiletto, whatever you need. It's better to break this than to break your finger. So I have it taped down, and I'm going to go ahead and start. And it's going to zip across here. And I forgot to point out, but make sure your fabric didn't get all wonky underneath there. Now, when I get to the decorative stitch out, the version that's on my machine is a little bit wonky. So I don't know what it's doing. So I apologize. It's going to look a little weird for you, but I'm just going to keep on going on because my test stitch out, the final result still ended up being okay, even though it does this wonky thing. I'm also using the the transport tape. Not the micro one. Where's it at? Okay. So I like the pink tape too. So I go back and forth between them. But here it is, 3M. I got the whole box on Amazon. I think it was $20. And there's quite a bit of rolls in here. So now we're going to go ahead and turn it to the back. Or actually, leave your lining up because we're doing a decoration on this one. So when you're going to do a design on the front, you need to keep your lining on the back up for right now. If you need to, you can pin it. What I like to do is, do I actually have some pins here? I had them here somewhere. I will sometimes fold this down like this. Can you see what I'm doing? Yeah, you can. And then use one of those long flower pins and pin it to the stabilizer. And that helps keep it out of the way. And also reminds you not to fold it down. See what I did? Oh, and I wanted to show you guys one more thing before I forgot. And I skipped right past that step. This stuff is really good. It's Wonder Tape. And it's washable tape. But it's double-sided. So I wanted to point out, if you are somebody who has a little bit of a hard time getting your zipper down even, you can use the Wonder Tape on it and put it on your stabilizer, especially on a bag that would get washed. And I actually did, I should have showed it to you because my zipper did get wonky. Can you see that? It did come off because, you know why? I didn't put tape in the center. I only put on the ends, and that's what happens. That's why tape is your friend. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fold this down, and I'm using promo vinyl from My Punk. This is about, it's not quite as thick as the, I had everything organized. I had my little boning tool in here. Now I don't see it. It's not quite as thick as marine vinyl from Joanne, but it is nice and it's very flexible. So it's great for bag making. So again, I'm not going to rely on that staying down. I'm going to tape it down. And this, the machine, when I got it secondhand, the lady had some pre-cut stabilizer in there. I don't know what kind it is. It's really fuzzy. And it's softer, so I thought it would be good for the bag since it gets stuck inside. But the tape is pulling off with it, or the stabilizer is pulling off on the tape, so it's not going to give me as many opportunities. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the top stitch, and it is yellow. So use whatever color makes sense for you. I'm sorry, one more step. The instructions will be right. We do need to pull this down for the top stitching. And then we're going to put it back up. Sorry about that, guys. One of these days I'll do one of these live videos without making a mistake. It seems like it's such an easy thing to do, but it's really not. Okay, so go ahead and finger press this down. The seam. Oh, what happened? This is a good thing. Another reason why I did top stitching. It actually didn't even catch the back there for some reason. That's crazy. There's something wrong with the tension on this machine, and one of these days I need to just sit down and figure out what the deal is. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and carefully tape this down. It'll get caught with the top stitching. If anybody has any ideas, I know a couple of you have this machine. Let me know what else to try, because this has happened to me continually. On the front, you see it caught the vinyl perfectly, but on the bottom, that seam didn't even make it in the, it like totally pulled out of the cloth. I don't understand it. Okay. Something is dragging down here, so hold on, I got some tape. It's messing up. Yeah, this piece came undone because it unscrewed. Oh my gosh. Alright. Sorry guys. I'm just going to redo that step because this is not stable. Alright. Let me redo this. I don't know why it did not pick that up. So on the Janome, it's easy. You just go back on the arrow. So I'm just going to redo this step. Oh, it did come loose on here too. Oh, it's just driving me crazy. I don't know what's going on. Anybody else with this machine or the Elna machine have that issue? I'm going to hold on to the thread this time though. That'll help a little. So it looks like it's stitched, but it did not. Okay. I have it doing the back tack. This is real life. So you guys, I've been doing this for a while and see how frustrated I can get. I'm trying not to be frustrated, but see how it can mess me up because the design, it is not the way it's digitized. There's just something wrong with my tension and it's making it wonky. Now it stuck that time. Can I get a close up? But the tension's not good. No, you can't get a close up. But the tension's not great on it. And I have it set to auto tension because I don't feel like you should have to play with the tension on an embroidery machine unless you're doing something crazy. Okay. So that's one little thing I have noticed does help if you hold on to the thread when you start stitching. And it's something you do in regular sewing too. You hold on to the tails, otherwise they get all knotty underneath. Okay, so there we go. Now we did it the correct way. I don't have a video feed. Okay, I can see. I don't know how many people. It really says we have 22 people out here? Wow. Okay, guys. Awesome. Glad you're spending your Saturday morning with me. I'm actually just taking a little bit of a break to do this because I'm so sunburned from yesterday. Okay. Now, another thing I could have done is, before we continued, I noticed that zipper is wonky. I could have taken the time to stop and pull it out and redo that step. And I tell you that because that's so easy to do and take the time to do that. If you get it in there wonky, you didn't tape it down secure enough, fix it. And then your end product will look better. You want your end product to look like a boutique bag. Okay, I'm going to hold on to the thread and pull some loose and hold it so hopefully we don't have that same issue again. Now I'm going to do the top stitch and then I'm going to move the back out of the way to do the decorative stitching. So far this looks like pretty much any other kind of bag. Okay, so now I need to move and pull up a different file. So I'm going to remember I'm on step 5. Why am I on step 5? Sorry. Oh, I didn't put my design in the right place. That's why. Okay. But I'm going to resume step 5. But I'm going to pull up the other file so I can do the decorative picture that I want to show you guys. This is the second part of the lesson. Okay, now again, remember I mentioned I had some issues with it. So you're going to bear with me. I don't know what the machine's doing, but it does a whole bunch of stops and stitches. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to try and hold the... Oops. Okay, it gave me the bobbin warning message. I am definitely going to heed... Oh no, there's plenty of bobbin in there. But I'm getting ready to do very thick satin stitching, and so I would normally change out that bobbin, but I can see by manual inspection that it's a lot. Oops, I forgot to fold this up. And I see none of you guys reminded me. Okay, so let's fold the lining back up. We don't want to stitch through our lining. I mean, it's not the end of the world if you do, but we don't want to. Okay, again, I'm just going to fold it up here and pin it to the stabilizer with a flat pin. Alternatively, tape it. That way it's out of our way. And if you have this machine and you don't know it, you can actually lift an extra ½ inch or so with that. Okay, now get ready for boringness. I don't know why it's doing this. This is what I was trying to fix, but it keeps cutting the it keeps cutting, going and cutting and going and cutting, and I don't know why. So it's going to do this for a few times. You'll notice that my my cutter is working now. I did get that replaced. I don't know why it's doing this. This is what I was trying to fix when it Oh, Grayson, you are the sweetest little child in the whole world. Oh my gosh, you guys, my soda was getting low and he just went all on his own and got me another soda. Don't I have the most special child in the world? Okay, I'm going to try and hold it and see if that helps, but it's going to do this a few times. And I was trying to fix that. No, it just cut it off. Thank you, baby. It will get past this, I promise you. Oh, I left my sample in the bedroom, so I can't show you what we're going to do.
I can go get it.
Can you go get it? Do you know what I'm talking about? That might be good for me to show them while they're waiting for this to finish. It's this material, but... Oh, there it goes. Okay, now it's starting. Okay, wait, I'm going to stop and trim off these extras real quick. Okay, and whoever can guess what we're going to have here, what this is going to be, gets the design for free. Hi, Antonia. Oh, did they see it? You didn't see it, did you? No, I don't want them to see it. It's working now. So we're going to hide that and pretend we don't see it. So Antonio, I'm having issues with this embrilliance. Look what it's doing. I'll show you in a minute. I was trying to fix this file and I thought I fixed it, and when I save it as Jeff, it's losing half the stitches. So I'm not a happy camper. So this is going to take a minute or two to do. Anybody guess yet what it's going to be? Let me get you guys back up on my other screen. It's easier for me to see. So I finally figured out the way to get the horizontal view on the iPhone. It took me a long time to figure this out. You have to use the front camera.
Can I give them a hint?
No. You have to use the front camera. Then you go into the settings and turn it around so it's looking at you. And then there's a little like gear switch, and you go in there and there's a horizontal flip, and that's what you flip so everything looks like it's in the right order. So I've always been trying to do it from the back camera, and that's why I could never get it in the horizontal view. So how's the view, everybody? Especially those who've seen my videos before. How's this looking? Is it good with it being right in front of the window? I opened up the curtain to get the sunshine in. And yeah, I think you can see a little bit of me in here. Yeah, you know I don't have a bra on. It's Saturday. I've always said if men had to wear those things, they would have invented something better. Now this is going to look a little bit silly on here because it's a little small. But that's okay. And those for you late to the party, this is what we're working on. The lined version of this. This is going to be a sort of similar to my itty bitty pouch, but instead of folding over the material, we're just going to stitch it right at the top. You'll see. And this is a square one. So just another way to do it. I just realized this, like... Okay, I'm using the table, and it's not even there. The hoop is, like, rubbing on it. I just realized that. Huh. Like in the front, it seems like it's up higher than the embroidery arm. Oh, while I was doing that, I need to find black. Why do I not have black? There are 1,000 spools of thread down here, no black. Okay, we're just gonna use brown. Wait, here's black. There's enough left there, but we'll try it. Oh, maybe I should use brown. This is a nice testing setup, so. Oh! Carol got it. Oh, and I just caught Antonia's. Yep. You got it. Looks like a macaroni noodle from here. And it's not going to go all the way through because there's a bug here that I was trying to fix. So you guys just bear with me on that. So I don't know what's going on. It doesn't end up being bad in the end result, but I don't know why it's doing this. It's doing it again at the end. I do not know what's going on with this stupid software. It's crazy, Antonio. It doesn't show that in any way in the software that's doing it. It's because I'm trying to do the start and stop overlap there. You know, I just had an idea. I made it a closed object. I think I'm going to make it an open object and just manually overlap it. Maybe that will resolve the issue. Oh, I don't need to change the thread color yet. See what it's doing? It's crazy. It's like I have a whole bunch of stitches there and I don't. So that's what I was trying to fix. Okay. Now I'm going to keep it yellow, so I'm going to try real quick and do... I had to abandon... Let me pull it up here and show you what it's doing in the real file. Antonia, look what it's doing in the actual file when I tried to make it larger and move the starts and stops. So it stopped doing that. And yeah, it's still puckering here. I should have put some cutaway under here. So put some cutaway, guys. I'm going to try... Antonia uses the same software as me, so... Alright, let's see. Instead of making it a closed object... It's not even letting me uncheck that. It's crazy. I do not know why it's doing that. I just do not know. I'm going to have to send it into Brilliance. It's absolutely crazy. Anyway, let's let this finish. It didn't do that until I started moving the start and stops to try and stop that beginning weird thing. And it's puckering up on the vinyl. You can see that. Keep your finger out of there. Kimberly, just put your finger in there. But, so I should have used cutaway. It'll be okay in the end, though. So you are going to need your seam ripper or tiny scissors. Okay, will do. Have fun, Antonia. Antonia is the one who's behind Embroidery Playground that did that adorable little Chick-fil-A mask for y'all. So thank her while she's here. My son is in love with Raising Cane's. Raise your hand if you have Raising Cane's. And I love Raising Cane's too, but sadly it's the last thing I ate before I had a stomach flu in February. And I can tolerate the bread and the french fries, but I can't eat the chicken strips. As soon as I eat it, I feel sick to my stomach again. Now, I'm doing this all in yellow today, but you can change the colors to be whatever you want. Since somebody already guessed it, I can show you the sample. How adorable is it? So, there is a little bit of a drawback to doing this fringe. I don't know if I can get close enough to show you. So you need to be able to decide if you can live with it or not. It's perforating the vinyl, of course, to do this. So you're going to be left with the little holes. I've been wanting to try this for a long time, and it just came to me last night. I'm like, you know, I'm going to try that today. Now, my tension is not really good, so when I show you guys the fringe part, keep that in mind. So I have to be very careful. And this is what the back will look like. Okay, so, let me change out to the black. Oh, why did I do that so far away? One other thing, and I can't remember who has the Elna version of my machine, but I was having so much trouble with the threading the machine, and I have no idea why. If I moved something when I was changing out the threader, I mean the auto cutter, but now my threader works. And watch, it probably won't work now because I say this, but it's been working almost every single time. And I haven't even had to lock the machine or raise the presser foot. Oh, yep, see, it didn't do it that time. But it's been doing it. I think you have to make sure you get this in there tight enough. See? Every single time it's been, well, obviously not every single time, but 9 out of 10 times it's been working. So I don't know if there was something loose in there. I don't know why this is like up too high. It's like, scared me too. Thankfully it didn't break. It's very vibrating. So on this table, actually, Carol, that's exactly what I had in mind too. I'm gonna make some with jean material, but jean is gonna be really hard to turn, and I didn't want to do that for the live video. But I thought, how cute of a little crossover body for a little girl. So if I can get the larger sizes of this to stitch out, I will include it with this listing. I think I'm up to 7 sizes for this pouch. I gotta be careful. I didn't have my machine up here. Okay, so I really should have used a cutaway because it got really wavy. And in my defense, this is the first time I used the promo, so I wasn't sure. I think on a marine vinyl. Oh, and look, the stabilizer was not a good choice either. It actually punctured through it. So I did not have a good choice of stabilizer and vinyl. Okay, so what we're going to do now, let me see if I can get zoom in. Is that the most I can zoom in? All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to go through, and my tension is off so it's hard to see it. But see the white bobbin? We're just going to cut away only the white bobbin. So let me see if I can stand up and show this to you at the same time. So we want only the white bobbin cut away. And use your seam ripper and pull it up in between a couple of stitches at a time. And then cut it away. And I actually need to take my glasses off because I'm old. And even though I have bifocal or multifocals, whatever they're called, progressives, I still have trouble seeing up close. Okay, so that's as close as I can get. So just use your seam ripper or use your small scissors. Why do I feel like I'm not saying that word right? I actually think the scissors are easier. And cut that white bobbin. Now, if your tension is better, you're not going to have as much trouble seeing the bobbin as I am. And the reason we want to cut only the bobbin is if you cut the fringe, then you're not going to have loops. It's going to be cut strings, and it won't look as cute. So I'm going to come off the camera a second so I can finish this up real quick. Because mine, like again, my tension is really off on here, so you should see a lot more bobbin thread than I'm seeing. And after I do this, I'm going to tape a little bit of tearaway down because this stabilizer did not support this and I don't want it to come loose. That is why it got so curly. And actually, this is not even as nice as my test run because the stabilizer didn't support it. This is what Kimberly gets for using a new stabilizer to her for seeing in a test video. And I'm cutting some of the loops here. I can't help it because it pulled it too far down. So again, I'm just cutting around on the little white lines. This section's pretty good. It's probably the first section that's stitched out. Okay, and I'm going to flip it over. Oh, and I actually just cut into the stabilizer. That wasn't ideal. Okay, I'm going to grab... Actually, I think it's going to be okay because this lining is going to be down anyway. Okay, so now that we cut it loose on the back, then you can just take your finger and pull it loose all around, and it should pull right out. So just go around and work it loose. You might have to, it's probably easier, and see, so I got some of mine actually cut. Yeah, it's definitely easier if you rub it against a hard surface. But some of mine actually, the loops came undone because I cut into the bobbin. But that's okay. You're not entering this into some major contest. Yours might look a little bit better than mine. And if you wanted to, you could actually just cut the loops and not even worry about it and make it even more fringy. I like the loops. Oh, I'm actually going to flip this over and use the stiletto version so I don't accidentally cut it. I like the loops. So, that's why I'm going to try and do the, let me unzoom ya. I need to get that little remote working so I can unzoom. So, I'm just going to go ahead and use the stiletto to pull it loose. I like the loops, but if you take and cut the loops off, and I would do that on the back side before you do the bobbin. I would cut along the edge, and then you won't have loops. And just pull it out, And hold on a second, I gotta unzoom you guys. And I can't unzoom you standing up, sitting down. There we go. So, you see what I'm doing still? I think the curtain is getting too much light in here now. So just gently pull it through. And this vinyl is actually holding on to it much better than the lips my sample was. So that's a good sign. Alright. I have been wanting to do this, test this, something with this design for so long. With this fringe. I don't know what's like held me up. It's flipping adorable. Now, I think on cotton it would look much better because you won't have, those holes won't be as noticeable on cotton as they are on vinyl. If you have a mini iron, I do, but I don't have it here and set up obviously. But if you had a mini iron, you could actually turn it over against a nice surface and put a little bit of steam from the back, and it'll help make those holes not as noticeable. So here we go. So now see all the fringe, and then I'll trim those off when we're all done. But then see the little holes that get left behind. So keep that in mind with the vinyl. But did I not get it out over here? Your fringe kind of hides that, so I don't think anybody's going to come over and pull up your fringe and look underneath. Alright. I didn't get it all up. There we go. Trim this little guy over here from the messy starts. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. I just love it. Can you see? How cute is that? Okay, now let me load my original file back so we can finish our bag construction. Now that we had that little diversion. Oh, we will figure out why this bag is not working. Okay. Oh yeah, chopstick probably would be very good. Alright, we're on step 5. Okay. Sorry, I need a drink. I actually need to bring up the instructions because I'm pretty sure I remember. This is actually only 7 steps really. Okay. Yes. So now we're going to tape down. Okay, we're going to undo our lining bottom. Bring that back down. Ignore all my wrinkleness. And I'm actually just going to pin it from underneath, from the front, out of the sewing area for right now. And then I'm going to put the other piece down and then I'll tape it. Now, take your second piece and put it, I don't have a marker. Here is the top of your zipper. You want it to extend above that about an inch. So you're going to extend it above that an inch. I'm showing this to you. That's not as important for this version because this is the lined version. But on the unlined version, that's very important. Okay, now I'm going to tape it down and catch both pieces. Again, if you just now joining me, the reason we're leaving that extra at the top is to give more support to the zipper because we're not doing a top stitch. And if we don't do a top stitch, that zipper is going to be more likely to come undone. So, what I'm talking about is, and I've already taped it down, so if you're late to the video, you add 1/2 inch to an extra inch there, and then tape it or glue it down at the end for the online version so there's more support for that zipper. Okay, and I'm going to tape this to the hoop on the bottom because the fabric is, I just roughly cut it. Okay, now take your exterior. Let me get back on the video and see if anybody asked a question. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to line it up approximately 1/2 inch to 1 inch above the zipper, the top of the zipper. Tape it down so it does not come loose. And you don't normally need to tape it down here because the weight of the vinyl, but I'm going to, oh, I'm not taping it yet. We can't tape it down here yet. We're just going to tape at the top. Okay, so it's on the back and then on the top. And we are going to move the back after we tack it down. So just put it there for now. Then I haven't done the PDF for the lined version yet. So that one won't be ready yet. Why is this not here? Okay. Okay, now it's trying to stitch our little smiley face that we already did. Okay. See, it's like pushing on this. I'm going to have to look into this more. Okay, so, let me make sure I'm looking at the file. Sorry, guys. So, that's Italian blue. Should be step 9. Yep, okay, perfect. So now we're going to go ahead and pull up our lining on the back. Ooh, see that? Totally tore that tape off. Trash that. And we're going to do the same thing we did before, and we're going to roll it up or tape it and to the front of the hoop. And get it out of the way for the next step. Okay. Now I'm going to pull it tautly because the next step actually is going to cut into the and tack down a portion of this lining, and that's okay. Now pull this up, move your tape out of the way. Fold it up and put finger crease this while you can, or use your boning tool. This will help with it later because we're not top stitching this. Okay, now move the tape over here and open up your zipper. Okay, now this part is important. When you open up that zipper, your zipper teeth pull apart. You see that? And that gives an opportunity for your presser foot to get stuck. So go ahead, and we're going to put the lining back down, but still go ahead and make sure the zipper teeth are back together and put a piece of tape so it's out of the stitch area. The stitch area is going to be right there for right now. Make sure this is out of the way. Tape it down if you need to, but this is a bigger bag, so it's okay. We need to tape it and fold this back down. Now tape it in place at the bottom. Okay, so lining is folded up, front is this way. lift up the presser foot. And I just realized I think I have the stitches out of place. So if you need to coax it down like this so it doesn't get wonky, use a chopstick or something. And mine did get wonky. I didn't tape it down well enough, that's why. But I normally use the, I still haven't got this all organized. I normally use those hemostats. Here they are. This is what I like to use to help guide, because they're long and you can get them in there. Now you see how that tack down is going to go a little bit past, and it's going to have caught our lining on the back, and that's okay. So it caught our lining a little bit on the back. That's okay. Okay, so now unroll your lining and tape it down. I'm pulling it tautly because it's caught there, so it's going to be baggy. So I want to pull it tautly in the center so that this is going to get caught up in the final seam, but that way it's not baggy right there. Actually, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to edit the file so that one, because it's going to get caught in the lining anyway, so that we don't have that extra stitch there. Let me cut that away. That way the lining will sit down better. I just thought of that. You need it for the online version to support the zipper tape. But you don't need it for the lined version because it's going to get stitched over again. Yes, sir.
Can you get pennies after this?
No. Alright, I'm just trimming that loose. So I'll remove that for the final version. Because I want the lining to stay down as smooth as it can. If you don't have it as smooth as it goes, then, or as smooth as it can, you're going to risk it getting caught in the zipper when you're pulling the zipper. So I'm going to make sure it's taut and tape it to the sides. And that means to the hoop. Okay, I'm going to skip a few steps because I messed up the reinforcement. Oh, actually, no, it's okay for it to stitch now. Sorry. So it's going to go ahead and stitch a couple of reinforcing stitches here to give extra support to the zipper end so it doesn't come open. Oh, and this is where... Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, guys. It's okay. It's not too late. That is where you would put your loop if you want a loop. And I forgot. So I'm just going to put a piece of FOE. It's in the instructions. I should have been looking at my instructions. Because I don't have a lobster clasp right handy. So I'm just going to put a piece. And I'm sorry. I have to undo those stitches because I like it better over here. I'm crazy, aren't I? I'll do it from the back. So I'm just going to pull those out real quick. Ignore me. I always forget something, don't I? Always forget stuff. One of these days I'll do one of these live videos and I'll be perfect. And of course it's a base, so it's going to be really tight to get out. I call it a baste. It's not a baste. It's a reinforcement stitch. But I want to get... Okay. Alright, there we go. Let me retape this down. Did anybody ask a question? Because I'm like off the screen again. Let me get back on the screen. Hi, Linda. Hi, Kimberly. We're almost done. Okay, so Oh, I totally messed it up. I already did it. You would have done the loop before you got the top down. I can't unstitch the top. Can I? Yeah, I can. Because it's going to stitch over again. That's fine. Sorry. Hopefully I won't tear the vinyl. Alright, we're skipping the loop. Sorry, it's in the instructions. You would have put the loop before you tacked this side down. And I messed up. So, anyway. Onwards. We just won't have a hanging loop on this one. Okay, so now our lining is back down. We're almost done. Lining is back down. And we've already stitched this down. Okay. And this is our last step. And the file will actually have one more step. But again, that's an extra dummy-proof step so that we don't get the presser foot stuck on our hardware. So you're going to ignore it. Alright, now we're done. Okay, so we've stitched down our lining except for an opening here for the stave to turn it. So unhoop it. And remove all the stabilizer and extra tape. And sometimes you can reuse this tape, but in this case it's not salvageable. And remove all the stabilizer. Have your trash can handy at the bottom of your machine or wherever to throw that. And this stuff is really tearing easily. Whatever this is not going to get used again. It's, wow. It's like fibery. No idea what it is. It was just sitting in there. Maybe this would be good for... She did a lot of felty stuff because I have a lot of felt in there. I guess. I can't think of what else it would be good for. But it's pre-cut sheets, whatever it is. Oh, and I got my lining stuck up in there. I didn't double check and it was folded up. Luckily it's not much. So always make sure when you put it back, the hoop back down, take a peek under and make sure it's even. Now it's easier to see from the front to cut it because of all the lighting got yunky here. Because of the, let's see. Is that better or worse? Shoot. Better, a little better. So you can see that. It's easier to see because you can see the thread, but then you might end up cutting off this tab. So, sorry, we're going to have to work on the lighting. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut from the back first to cut my tab, the angle of my tab, like this. And then I'm going to cut into that from the side. And then, oops, what happened here? I want to leave a longer tab there. And then cut back down here. So do it on the back side up to this point, and then you can flip it around and do it from the front again. So we got to work on the lighting situation here. Okay, so I'm going to do it from the front. Why did it get so dark so suddenly? I don't know what's going on. Maybe it looks darker on my phone than it does in real life. No. Hey Grayson, can you come over and turn on the dining room light for Mom, please? Can you go turn the dining room light on, please? It got really dark over here for some reason. I'm going to see if that helps. Okay, we got to practice on this and work on this and see what lighting situations are going to be better. Did that help at all? Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and cut about 1/8 to 1/4 inch all the way around, except, ooh, I got really close there. Except your zipper and your hanging loop. leave half an inch to an inch extra on those pieces. The reason for that is if you cut them too short, it's really easy for them to come undone from the seam. And I got way too close right there. So leave those a little bit longer, especially in the online version. It's even more important. So I just pulled this back around the zipper, and I still have tape in there. I should remove that tape after we did the top stitch. So pull back those seams, hold the zipper down so that you don't cut it off, and then cut your seam. You can do it from the back if you need to. And then go ahead and bring your zipper up and cut it. So again, half an inch to an inch longer. And folding down the zipper out of the way so it doesn't get caught. Okay. And it's so much easier to do from the side where the thread is dark and you can see it. Now, the instructions for the online version, lost my train of thought. Oh, the importance for the online version of leaving that tape longer is because there's no lining to cover it up inside. And if you cut it too short, I can't show you because I already turned it, but if you cut it too short, see how I left it long and I even used a ribbon. If you cut it too short, then that ribbon tape is all the way up to here, and when you're turning it, it is really easy to pull those stitches out. So that is why we want to make sure to leave it longer. It leaves it, you can see it in there, so maybe it doesn't look as clean, but once it's folded up there and you train the zipper by closing it and pushing the vinyl down, once it gets trained, nobody's going to notice that. They're going to open this up and it's going to stay down in there. And again, there's another opportunity. I could put a piece of tape under there or glue and clamp it down and hold it. The vinyls, there's so many vinyls out that are just perfect for bags without having to line them, but we still want an end product that looks nice. So take these extra steps to make your end product, especially if you're selling it. I mean, if you're just giving this to your little niece, your 7-year-old niece, I'm not worried about, I wouldn't be worried about going to all that fuss, because the likelihood of her staying attention to it is not great. It's going to get lost or whatever. It's more like a throwaway. But if you're selling it, somebody's going to look at that, and that kind of detail is going to matter to them. Okay, so I've left the zipper and the actual lining and the vinyl. Go ahead and get those down to that 1/8 to 1/4 inch. That was a little long. The top, if you're doing the online version, remember, we're not cutting it to the zipper. We're leaving half an inch to an inch above. But since this is a lined version, I'm going to go ahead and cut it to the zipper. I just wanted to show it to you. Do not cut your zipper tape. Do not cut your zipper tape. In fact, in an ideal world, you would get a lighter and burn the edges of this. I don't have one handy, so leaving it longer is my benefit. But don't cut into your zipper tape. So if you have to fold this back to look at it, make sure you do. Okay? So now here's the fun part. Oh, go ahead and trim, fold your tab down and trim your vinyl from your tab area. You don't need that long. So we're going to go ahead and turn this bag inside out. And the longer bags, the longer skinnier bags are hard to do. So let me see if I can stay in the camera view and do it. And I already undid it. That's my warning. I need to top stitch. I try to leave a hole that's big enough for you, but I need to back stitch it better. And this is the kind of stuff when I'm testing that I look for. I want to make sure that's not going to happen because it's more work for you to close it then. So sometimes it helps if you can get the first corner out, and these hemostats help a lot. So they have a locking thing down here. You unlock it, and then you get in the rounded edges into a corner, and you kind of grab it, pinch it in there, and then grab it, lock them together. See, now they're locked, and then pull. And I don't find it to be as useful with the vinyl, but if you're doing cloth, it works perfect. But it's harder with the vinyl. And see, I did off camera. See, now I'm holding that lining, and I'm pulling this. And this is a third hand for me, so it's holding on to that internal, and so I can get it out now. Now I can get my hand in there and push it out. You see that? So pick these up. I will, there's a link on the regular business page, and I will post a link again. We are not allowed to share affiliate links in the groups because they're private, so Amazon can't look at. So everything has to be on the business page. Alright, and then just keep pushing it out. And the reason I like these is then when they're locked together, they have a nice round edge, and it's great for pushing the points out without tearing it. So reach inside and push. This is a 5x7 design, and I think I have two sizes at 5x7 and the vertical length. And this one is 5 by 5.5, I believe. And so you can tell how bad the tension is. You can see my entire top stitch on that lining top stitching. Okay, I'm going to just have to spend some time and try and figure this out. So go ahead and poke out the bits by the zipper. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just need it to actually be able to get to the zipper. And I forgot that step. It's easier if you trim out the stabilizer while the bag is still in the hoop. See, I need to be following my instructions. So I'm going to just lightly get my seam ripper in there and make sure it's in between the lining and the zipper. I don't want to cut my zipper. So normally I like that middle stitch. Oh, I do. I still have that middle stitch. So, ooh, did you see how fuzzy that was? It's like almost toilet paper or something. Ooh. I think that stabilizer needs to go in the recycle bin. I don't know what that stuff is. Ooh. It was definitely soft, but oh, that was terrible. It's really fuzzy. Very fuzzy. Okay, now you can get inside and unlock the zipper the rest of the way. You should be able to. It's not liking me today. I pinched my fingernail. Sometimes if you use your seam ripper and reach in with your seam ripper and put it on that little tab and then turn it the other way, you can, again, it's like a third hand, and you can push it open. Okay, now that we have that open, and I just dropped the seam ripper, open it as far as you can get. Now you need to turn it inside, right side out, the final right side out. And this is where you're going to use that hemostat and make it nice and pretty on the ends. Oh, you could actually go ahead and put your double stick tape. I'm going to do that now. Since this is such a long bag, I don't want to have to turn it inside out again. So I'm going to go ahead and cut my permanent double stick tape and close my ends. So just fold it under, and I undid the seam over here, so it's kind of wonky. Fold this down where the seam is at. And it looks really crazy because I tore mine. And then you're going to do your double stick tape along there. Actually, I'm going to come back and do that later because I tore my seam. I'm going to make the hole a little bit smaller so I have more room to backstitch it. So don't shoot me. makes it a little bit harder to turn it inside out then. Okay. And actually, once you get it all the way turned the first time, so it's right side out, the vinyl, it kind of gets trained. And when you go to try to turn it again, it's easier when you have to close that lining. It like almost has a memory. So I'm just reaching in here with my hand. And these longer ones are wonky. They're harder to do. But once you get in there enough that you have the most of it out, then you can get in with your hemostats. Anything that's rounded over, you don't want to use a seam ripper because it'll go right through your marine vinyl or whatever vinyl you're using. You see how I can get in there with the rounded edge of that and round that corner off. And I did do rounded corners. I've had several of my testers tell me they much prefer the rounded corners. And it works better with the vinyl. Okay. And then if you take the hemostats and rub them along the side, and I know the lighting has gotten bad. I'm sorry, guys. New work set up here. You run it along the side. It helps to bring that vinyl into its permanent happy space. And normally you would have your little loop right here. So you want to line your loop up with the zipper when you do the loop. Okay, now you want to pop out this corner. So put your hemostat in there, put your thumb right here, and pull it up, and it'll come right up. So just work it until it comes up. And you can work it as much as you want for how much you want it. So I had to actually put my finger in the back this time. It's usually always stuck to either the back or the front, but not both. And you can actually, since you still have the hole open, you can actually pull up through the hole. It's awkward with this long one, but it's easier then, and get underneath the lining to get that, to get to that very corner there, to pop it out. But just work patiently at it, and you can get it to pop out a little bit more. And the more you pop it, take patience you do and pop it out, the more realistic it's going to look like a top open zipper. Now you see what I was talking about, because we're not top stitching. There's that opportunity for the zipper, the lining, to get caught in the zipper. So that's why we wanted to pull that tight. And see, it's not wanting to go here because I need to work that corner now. That corner is a little bit harder to work because there's so much bulk in there, and it's a little bit harder to get that zipper because the way the open-ended ends up kind of going off kilter when you're doing it. So just work it a little bit, and usually when you pull on the zipper it'll do that, but you just kind of get it to be as far as you can get it to go. Alright, let's trim off these little guys that came loose. And again, if you want total fringe instead of the loops, then just go through and cut the loops. But I like it with the loops. And it is curly because I didn't use the right stabilizer. But look how adorable this is. And it's took us a long time because again I have to demonstrate everything and I make mistakes. But this, if you don't use any decorations at all, this is probably a 10-minute stitch out at the most if you don't put any designs on it. Then actually the sizing of it, it's not bad for this size pouch. Oh, it reminds me of McDonald's, the coloring on it. So totally lined. So it's nice and pretty inside. Put a little key fob holder on here or something. I didn't get this corner out all the way, I can tell. So if it doesn't look right to you, get your hemostats in there and work it a little bit more. And vinyl tends to want to be poofy and thick. So what you can do to get around that is roll the edge together like this, and then put some of those little crimps. I don't have any right here, Andy, do I? I did find some when I was cleaning. But you put some of those little plastic binder crimps on the edges and just let it sit overnight, or put a heavy book on top of it. This design will work for either fabric or vinyl. The unlined one, again, this is where your ribbon tag should have gone. That's what the unlined one looks like. So I will have this 4x4 smiley face version online listed tonight on Etsy for intro price of $1. It's just going to be a quick little giveaway. I have to price at least $1 on Etsy because of their fees, so basically it's free, but I have to price it. So it'll be a cute little coin purse for you. Now, I'll put this in instructions for if you're going to do an applique on it, when you do the when you do the stitch down here, put some of the Oli Fun behind it, then fold it up just like you did the lining. Do your decorative stitch and then fold it back down, and that way it'll cover up the decorative stitch on the inside if you don't want to see it. If you don't care, then don't worry about it. But, oh, look at this. My little smiley face actually got, because that vinyl, because the stabilizer didn't support it very well, it doesn't look so stretched now because it's covered, but it actually elongated the face a little bit. You see? You can't see because the lighting's not good enough. Oh, let me try and... Is the lighting better with the curtain closed or worse? Let me see. Let me catch up. I'm like lagged. Yeah, better with it closed. I don't know why. But it elongated the face a little bit. Isn't that funny? Anyway, any questions before I say goodbye? Oh, I just love this. It's so cute. Oh, what am I going to use this thing for since I forgot a tab on it? Oh, you know what you could do? Just had an idea. Okay. So, since I forgot the tab and I want to put a hanging tab here, let me show you something really quick. Just hold on 2 seconds, people. I'm going to show you a little quick trick we can do. Can't get to all my equipment over here because I have such a mess. What are you doing, Grayson? I'm still here. I'm not in the view, but give me a minute, people. I want to show you a quick trick. Alright, I got the right stuff. This is what you can do if you're like me and you forgot the hardware. I'm going to make a mess over here. I just know it. I'm trying to access this stuff. Okay. Of course, I can't find a lobster clasp. Hold on, I'm back. I'll be back. Hold on. Did I lose anybody? Let me grab a lobster clasp. Where are the lobster clasps at? Okay, let me show you a little trick you can do. Let me see if I have enough piece of vinyl left over that's big enough. So use a ruler and make it nice and neat. But cut a piece of vinyl big enough to go through your lobster claw. And I would actually do it a double thickness, but I'm just going to do this real quick for you. You got another lesson today you didn't know you were going to get. So you want it to cover, be enough to cover over evenly on both sides. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our little lobster claw, and then we're going to take this. See what I'm going with? That's going to be too tight, so I'm going to make it a little bit looser. And I'm going to hold it in place with some tape. Let me grab another piece of tape somewhere. Sorry about that. You guys see where I'm going at with this? Hey, Grace and Mary said hi.
Hi.
Okay, and kind of look, eyeball it and make sure that you have it even on both sides. Okay, you need a little bit of room there for give. You now take your hole puncher. That was from Grayson, everybody. Sorry. Double stick tape would have been a better idea. It came loose. I'm just using that top seam and make sure it matches. Okay, now I'm going to take my hole punch. Let me reach in just about right there. Actually, I'm just going to do one. Try and make sure it looks even in the center. And punch all the way through your bag. Make sure it's covered on the back too. All the way through. Hold that tape back a little bit. Get your favorite rivets. And as you pull that tape back, put the rivet in place so you don't have to line up all those holes again. And I did mess it up. That's okay. So just pull the tape off and get it out of your way. And I didn't line this up very well, but I'm doing it really fast to show you guys. Okay, so make it go through to the back. And pull the extra tape out of the way. Put the cap on it. Now you hear that click. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but that's not good enough. You need to press it. The click is not enough. It'll come undone. So I'm trying to get this tape out of here real quick. And honestly, if I was doing this to sell, I would take the time to fold over that vinyl in half so it's even edges. Okay, then just get your rivet press, your rivet die in your press of whatever design you're using, and then press it. There we go. Problem solved. I forgot that step, but there we go. And actually, it doesn't look that bad with just the raw edge here. That's what it looks like in the back. So you lose a tiny little bit of space in your pouch because we just closed it. But it's okay. There's plenty of room in there. So that's an idea you can do if you forget your loop. Not a big deal. Just use a rivet and put it on the side. Alright guys. I'm going to call it quits before my battery dies, and hopefully you guys like this cute little design. Again, this is the
Can I do the end?
red promo vinyl from My Punk, and the sample one was the lips.
It's a, she said
I think that one's still away. I think this one's still available. So, and I used the lace zipper on this just because I'm trying to use them up. Oh, and this is actually from My Punk too. Handmade. It's so
Mary
cute.
said wonderful.
She had a whole bunch of this FOE on there and I didn't even know it.
Mary said wonderful.
Okay. It says handmade with love. I love it. Okay guys, Grayson wants to say goodbye.
Bye-bye, and please subscribe if you haven't.
He's saying please subscribe if you haven't, so I guess that's his way of telling me I need to put this on YouTube. Thanks, everybody.
Put it on YouTube.
Bye.